Welcome to the oasis.state podcast, a podcast where we peel back the layers of life's mysteries, decode the cosmic dance, and embrace the technicolor tapestry of our existence. I'm Zoe, your guide through the twists and turns of this wild journey we call life. If you've ever felt like you don't quite fit into society's mold, well, you've found the right place. Join me as we dive deep into the pool of existence, exploring the WTF moments that make life simultaneously confusing and exhilarating. From soul-expanding experiences to heart-wrenching healing journeys, we'll shine the light on all of it, and I'll share how we can alchemize these moments into pure magic and transformation. Consider this podcast your safe haven, your home away from home, where you can let your freak flag fly and embrace the full spectrum of who you are. So are you ready to join me on this soul-expanding adventure? Buckle up, my friends. Let's make some magic together. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Oasis.state podcast. I'm your host, Zoe. Okay, this episode is all about the breath. So I feel like I have been receiving a lot of guidance and a lot of downloads about the importance of regulating our, holistic being, and mostly the physical. So at the time of recording this podcast, we have just been through a very gnarly eclipse season. We had a new moon, we had all of these planets in all these different directions. Oh my gosh, excuse me. Oh, sorry, I took a big sip of water before I started recording. At the time of recording this, we've had a lot of astrological events that going on that have really destabilized ourselves and invited us to really move through a lot of heavy inner work, a lot to do with personalities, like really deeply ingrained stuff. And I feel like this week I've been receiving a lot of guidance about, it's not about going out there and finding your next lesson or leveling up. Like the thing before the level up and the thing to integrate the lessons that have already been stirred up from the eclipse is the importance of regulating and integrating these lessons. And that is where the breath has really been coming in for me. And I have realized that, and I know this might be, there might be breathwork practitioners listening to this like Adoy, but I, in my own journey, have just realized this week that, I do yoga and I meditate and I'm aware of the breath, but for me, it's sort of like, when you intellectually understand something for a really long time, cool, the breath. Yeah, no, like totally. It's so important. But this week has actually been a moment where I've been able to really integrate that lesson and really embody it and experience the benefits of embodying it. And so I felt called to come on here today and record this episode to hopefully give you some guidance if you need a little bit of help regulating. And the easiest and quickest way to do that is through our breath. So I've realized through my, mullings, if that's a word, over this guidance this week, just always coming through downloads about your breath, come back to your body, get in your body, because the body is our vessel, like the vessel for our soul. If you're very committed to your spiritual journey, I personally can get really stuck in my head and out in my crown chakra and really just wanting to do the lessons, expand as a soul. But we need to create that space for our bodies to catch up and our bodies to feel safe and our bodies to integrate these lessons. So that's where I am at this time of recording this podcast episode. So through my refocus on breath this week, I've realized that at all times, our breath is sending our bodies a message. And the message is you are either safe or you are not safe. And I was talking to a friend about this yesterday and I was like, oh yeah, is it black and white or is it like very, absolute whether you're safe or you're not safe? And I've realized that it really, really is, because at all times the depth of your breathing, the tempo of your breathing, everything related to your breath is either sending this direct message to your body through your nervous system that you are safe and that you are not safe. And then the piece that I was talking about with it, is it absolute whether you're safe or not safe, was me trying to understand oh, but sometimes I feel like sort of safe and sometimes I don't feel safe at all, sort of thing. And I realized that it's actually the amount of time that you spend in each state will give you an indication of where you are at in your nervous system or how much time you've spent in each state. It's either you're not like sort of safe or sort of not safe. You're either safe or you're either not safe. But you can spend a certain amount of time in your sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight or flight response, and it will send this message to your body continuously that you are not safe, you are not safe, you are not safe. And if you're feeling very dysregulated and, out of alignment and not feeling safe, that's because you've been in that sympathetic nervous system for a certain amount of time, and the messages are just getting louder and louder, and they're compounding, and your body is screaming out to you to move you back into your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest state, which is telling your body that you are safe. So in my interpretation, like I said, I'm not a breathwork teacher. If anyone is listening and can kind of validate this for me, or a yoga teacher or something, let me know, reach out to me. I'd love to talk about this more because I am just speaking from my personal experience. And yeah, it's always the breath. It is so simple, but it's not. I feel like I've known that intellectually for a really long time, like I said, but then embodying it, really ingraining it and knowing it has only just happened for me this week. And I've been breathing for 33 years. So basically, how do you tell what message your breath is giving to your body? Obviously, if you feel safe or not safe, but shallow chest breathing or irregular breathing. So you might find yourself really stressed out, you're on your phone, you're checking an email, and then you catch your breath, and you realize you've been holding your breath, or you're breathing really shallowly. That is an indication that you are breathing in a way that is shifting you into your sympathetic nervous system, which is actually out of alignment. And your sympathetic nervous system is only to be used in cases of emergencies, and it gets your body into that ready state to take on the threat, take on the danger. But in our overstimulating society, you can get an email from your boss, and that can click you into your parasympathetic nervous system. So sympathetic nervous system, so your fight or flight response. And then also, if you're not breathing properly, you are just existing in that fight or flight state, and in that state of not feeling safe, just on a constant rate. On the other side of it, if you're in your parasympathetic nervous system, you are having deep belly breaths. So your breath is coming down into your stomach. Why does it need to come into your stomach? There's a million reasons why, but I'm just going to focus on the nervous system piece for that. You want to be breathing deeply into your belly because this is where your vagus nerve is. And your vagus nerve is a very quick, surefire way for you to shift from your sympathetic nervous system into your parasympathetic nervous system. So breathing into your stomach stimulates the vagus nerve, which comes all the way back up to your brain and sends the message to your body that you are safe and that you can switch over into your parasympathetic nervous system, into that very regenerative, restful state. So regardless of what's going on in your life, literally you could be going through a breakup or getting laid off at work or something, which is obviously going to trigger some stress in you, but your breath is always the powerful tool that can get you even through those really, really gnarly experiences. So let that be your, your compass or your dial, whether you are safe. Are you sending your body that message that you're safe, or you're sending your body a message that you are not safe? And the way that you can do that, if you're not aware of that straight away, is to set alarms throughout your day, to literally just an alarm that says, check your breath or breathe or something like that. And do that multiple times a day. And practices like yoga and meditating obviously have a huge breath component, but we're not doing yoga and meditating all day. And it's like we've got this, what's the word? You walk out of the yoga studio and then you just forget that you can just keep focusing on your breath throughout the day. So yeah, we can sit on the mat and do an amazing yoga class for an hour and then go to work and get really stressed out and start breathing in our chest really shallow, in a shallow way and in a dysregulated way. And all of that good work that you did to get yourself into your parasympathetic nervous system during that yoga class is now gone and done. It doesn't mean anything anymore. So Yeah, that's my advice for you, is to set alarms throughout your day to um, yeah, to check in with your breath. And then slowly over time, you won't have to have the alarms all the time. Sorry, just have to shift. Yeah, you won't have to have the alarms all the time, but it's just about getting into that practice of checking in with your breath. So, what happens when you are constantly sending your body a message that you are not safe? I'm sure we've all experienced it, but it is a deeply, deeply uncomfortable experience. And it is the difference between being in alignment and being out of alignment. If you want to come back to that spiritual piece, it's when you are not safe in your body, you are out of alignment. Like, we are literally wired to feel safe in our bodies, but because of our stimulating society and unconscious aspects, it's so easy to go into that fight or flight response and not feel safe. So when you're feeling unsafe, you feel very clouded with your thoughts. You are not being intentional with what you're doing. You might be eating your food and replying to an email on your phone and then talking to your partner across the room. And that's three things at once. And of course, your breathing is going to get more and more shallow because you're talking and you're eating and you're distracted. And so the mental component of not feeling safe is feeling incredibly scattered. If you feel like your memory is like a goldfish and you're walking to another room and you're like, what was I coming in here for? And you kind of have to backtrack. You are sending a message to your body through your breath and through other stimuli that you're not taking accountability for, that you are not safe. So of course it's not going to focus on anything because it's focusing on this threat that you've convinced your body is out there. Like it's like, but what is it? Like when do I need to attack, or do I need to fight, or do I need to fly, or do I need to freeze? Like there's all these different stress responses, but you're not going to get anything constructive done when you're in that unsafe state. Or if you do get something constructive done, say like a project at work or something, you're not going to enjoy yourself while you're doing it, because you can be successful when you're telling your body that you're not safe, but I can tell you now, you're not going to be enjoying it. You'll get the products, but the whole journey won't be worth it. And then what's the point? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So sorry, bumped the mic. And when you are sending your body a message through your breath that you are not safe, your emotions are all over the shop because you are not creating the environment for your emotions to be honored, to be felt, to be given the love and attention that they need. So you're walking around with this monkey mind out of control, and all of these thoughts are creating all of these emotions because you're walking around looking for the threat. So obviously you're super duper stressed out and you're not actually transmuting any of the emotions, and it's compounding and it's compounding and it's compounding. And you will feel like a big bucket of water, and then as soon as one drop goes into the top of the bucket, so you're a bucket and it's like completely full to the top, and then one drop of water will go in, so say like an email from your boss, and you will just completely overflow because you're already at capacity. You are sending your body a message that you are not safe. So one more thing is one more potential threat. When we move into that space of feeling regulated and feeling safe, which I have mentioned throughout this episode is actually really easy to do throughout your day by coming back to those deep regulated belly breaths, we are like an empty bucket. There's no water in there, and just say something really crazy happens, like you get into a car accident or whatever, and that's going to pour like a cup of water or another bucket of water into your vessel. You can handle it because there's not already too much in there. Does that analogy land? I really hope it does. But yeah, it's something that my dad actually said to me years ago, and I didn't have the greatest relationship with my dad, and I don't feel like he actually gave me that much advice over the years. But when I was really stressed out with uni or high school or something, just, you know, the pressures of being young and trying to make it as a, you know, person in the world, he noticed that and just said, like, you're a full bucket, and then when a drop comes into it, you completely overflow. And I was like, whoa. So that lesson has stuck with me for years, if not decades. I can't remember exactly when he said it to me, but it's been very valuable for me. So I wanted to provide that for you. So we think that we can get so much done when we're in that dysregulated state and we're not feeling safe in our body, but we're actually cutting off all of the joys and the pleasures in life. We are like I said, we're already the full bucket of water. So we are sending our body and our holistic self a message that we are at capacity. So all of our other systems are shutting down, like the ones that aren't necessary for survival. So like our digestive system can get off, our libido can go, our even just like more personality and soul related things like our sense of humor will go away because we are fighting this message all the time through our breath and through our stimuli that we are not safe. So why would you laugh when you're not safe? Or why would you want to experience pleasure when you're not safe? Because you're trying to survive. It's survival mode versus like empowerment, relaxation, restful, regenerative mode. So when you are feeling safe in your body, all of your physical systems are actually working at optimal level. Like I said, if you are in a constant state of stress, you probably have digestive issues and you feel like you can't digest things. And it's great to go to a nutritionist and a naturopath and all of that, but none of that is going to work until you rid the stress from your life or you rid that dysregulation from your life. And that's where the breath can be that companion, that constant companion by your side every day to just bring you back. So, if you want to digest a meal without feeling sick, you need to start breathing more deeply into your belly, which is where your digestive system is, and sending that message to your body that you are safe. So your body's like, oh, I'm safe. I can digest that spaghetti bolognese that I just had. Cool. When you are not feeling safe, you will also feel incredibly isolated. You may pick fights with the people around you because you're sending a message to your body that you are not safe. So the people around you, like, your friend or your partner might say something and you'll just take it. You'll actually take it as a threat. You're like, what? No, what? And then you'll just start a fight for no reason. It's because you're constantly in this danger, like you've perceived this danger around you. And simply by using the breath, you can come back to a state of safety and realize, like, when your partner says something, you can be like, fuck off, and have a laugh. And again, it comes back to that sense of humor piece, because you actually have excess energy to zoom out and realize there's more going on than your internal experience and everything is fucking okay. Sorry, just when I said that, it reminded me to say something else. Let me see if I can remember it. So there, might come back. So I'm going to keep talking. Just get comfy on my bolster. So yeah, when you are not breathing properly and letting all these external stimuli and stress rule your life, like I said, you'll feel incredibly isolated because you will probably have relationship problems, but you will also feel tapped out from the universe and from that higher source. Whatever label you put on it, you will not be connected to your guides. They're still all there, by the way, but you have created this illusion of separation from a place of fear, so you can't actually access it. It's like you've put this screen around you and you just need to like move the screen to the side by getting back to that place of safety, and then you're just like, oh cool, you were here the whole time. But when you're not feeling safe, you will not have access to your intuition. It will be very, very quiet, and it'll probably send you these messages, and then because you're in that state of fear, you'll talk yourself out of it and you won't actually, do anything about it or action it or listen to it. So it's like a double whammy. It's really, really such a shame when you're not feeling safe in your body, because you also feel isolated, but it's because of you. It's a double whammy, but it's a double invitation to come back to your breath, do some deep belly breaths and regulate. Because like I said at the start of this episode, we are going through such a global collective awakening and upgrades right now. You can't just keep doing the upgrades without regulating them and integrating them, guys. And your body is the vessel. So we need to come back to feeling safe to process the trauma from our childhood, or the upgrade, or the intuition that we have access to when we are in that safe state. So yeah, there's many reasons why I don't need to explain why we need to feel safe in our bodies. It just feels better. It's the way that we are meant to operate. It's how we are in alignment. When you are safe, you're feeling inspired, you're feeling creative, you're not feeling exhausted as well. When you're feeling unsafe, you are just constantly exhausted, and it is so triggering. And I'm saying all of this from personal experience, guys. So it's just an accountability piece. And I just wanted to jump on here today and let you guys know that your breath is actually the quickest and easiest way to shift from that that danger, I keep wanting to say unsafety, and it's not a word, to shift yourself from that perceived danger, whether it actually is some, repressed trauma that you need to move through, or some stressful thing at work, or just everything throughout your life that's compounded that you haven't paid attention to because you've been in such a state of dysregulation or in your sympathetic nervous system for so long. So your breath is your friend, guys. Come back to your breath all the time. And I suppose I'll actually wrap up this episode by explaining how to breathe, in case anyone is like, yeah, cool, but how do I breathe properly? So I have mentioned into your belly. So in through your nose and out through your mouth is a very cathartic way to breathe. And even like a good sigh as well is really, really helpful. So you're going to breathe in through your nose and really focus on expanding your belly. And if you've been in your sympathetic nervous system telling your body you're not safe because of your shallow, dysregulating breathing for a really long time, it is really hard to build up that awareness around breathing into your belly. So if it feels like awkward and unnatural, that's okay. Like anything, it's that awareness, and that breath is a muscle, and you just need to keep exercising it and stretching it, and then slowly but surely, deep regulated breathing will become really natural. So we're breathing in through our nose, we're concentrating on bringing that air into our stomach, and then we're exhaling it out through our mouth for that kind of cathartic release, that sigh, like bonus points for the sigh. Or you can just breathe in through your nose and then out through your nose as well. Some other techniques that I find really helpful for regulating my breathing is inhaling and then exhaling for longer. So you might inhale for 4 counts and then exhale for 6 counts. And that's also, don't quote me on this, but I think that also helps your vagus nerve as well, and it helps you shift back into your parasympathetic nervous system. Also, another breathing technique that really helps me, I actually did it last night. I was drifting off to sleep. I was doing some Reiki on myself and doing some box breathing because I'd been on a lot of technology yesterday and it was just so hard to wind down and switch off. So I did some box breathing. So box breathing is inhaling through your nose for 4 counts, holding that breath at the top at the 4th count, holding that breath in for 4 more counts, releasing that breath for another 4 counts, and then holding on the out. So there's nothing left. You've exhaled 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you hold for 4, 3, 2, 1 before you start that next round. And it's called box breathing because it's 4, 4, 4, 4. And it doesn't have to be 4, but that's just what I was doing last night. If you've got lung capacity, you can up it to 5 or 6 or 7. Or if you're still in that very shallow, dysregulated breathing, it might only be in for 3 or in for 2 or something. But the whole technique is that it needs to be the same. So the in-breath, the hold, the exhale, and then the second hold, they all need to be the same amount of time. So yeah, there's many, many breathing techniques out there. Things like meditation. Literally, meditation is actually just coming back to your breath. If people are listening to this episode and haven't meditated, and there's a lot of different meditations, by the way. There's mantra ones and transcendental and all of that jazz. But just a very basic meditation is literally just closing your eyes, focusing on your breath, and then inevitably when your mind wanders off, just coming back to your breath. So meditation is a really cool way to come back to your breathing. And then yoga is also great as well. You just literally have to listen to the teacher say inhale, like inhale when they say inhale, and exhale when they say exhale, and then all the asana, so the movements that you're doing in the yoga support that breathing as well. So yeah, and then you can also go to like a breathwork class. I obviously work with the breath in my sessions as well, so reach out to me when I do my Reiki sessions. It's very much about the breath as well. But that's the thing that I was commenting on before, is that like I do yoga and I meditate and I give Reiki sessions and all of that, but I just totally forgot that focus and that importance of the breath can transfer just to your day-to-day. So it's just, like I said, set some alarms or just become conscious of, if you're feeling stressed, come back to your breath. Like while you're in the car driving, while you're at work, while you're in the shopping center, it's just like it's such a block for me. Like, I'm like, no, I'll jump on, treat someone for Reiki, and I'm like fully into my breath and getting them into their breath. And then I'll just walk out and start shallow breathing again. So it's just, and you know what? I'll probably forget this 50 more times in my life. Like like I said, it's a muscle. Your awareness and your practice of breathing is a muscle all the time. So you just have to come back to it. So yeah, hopefully it has been educational and inspiring for you guys. And then hopefully the breath breathing techniques I've offered at the end, they're just basic ones. I could go into a million different ones, but I just thought, let's just give you those ones for now. But I think the most important piece is, like, it's not about sitting in meditation or in a Reiki session or in yoga doing it. None of that means diddly squat if you're not breathing normally and regulating throughout the day and sending that message to your body at all times that you are safe. You are safe. Because, like I said, we're going through so much spiritually right now. And if you are not regulating and providing your vessel with a safe environment to integrate everything that you're learning, it's going to be 10 times more painful. Like, you might have this amazing spiritual aha moment, but unless you're regulating it, it's not going to hang around. Like, and like I said, when you're feeling safe in your body, that's when you're actually tapping into your intuition and you're channeling and you're downloading, you're getting that guidance. So yeah, guys, the breath, it's really important. And it's crazy because we obviously just automatically do it. But if we start consciously building a relationship with it, your life will change. So I hope that's provided some value, guys. I will see you on the next episode. Bye. Hey, beautiful soul. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Oasis.state podcast. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with a friend. It means the world to me knowing that everyone who needs this medicine and magic can lovingly receive it. Also, I'd love to hear from you, so feel free to reach out via social media, my website, or email. Can't wait to connect, and until then, sending you heaps of love.